Hello and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam, and I'm a real person, and today I want to talk to you about Gunstar Heroes, a game that I've played on a few platforms. It's been the same game. I've never actually played this game on the Sega Genesis like it originally came out on, but I've played it on Steam. It's available there. I feel like I thought it was on the Sega Genesis collection that was on PlayStation 3, but I could be wrong about that. Because when I looked it up, I couldn't see it there. So maybe I didn't play it there. But I've at least played it on Steam before, and I played it more recently on the Sega Genesis Mini, which is even closer to the original experience because it has the actual Sega Genesis like controller thing. So like that's cool. Just wanted you to know that the version I'm talking about more recently than is that one and that kind of thing. And I also, I guess for the preface of this review, I definitely feel like this is one of those where it's more of a real person reviews in the sense of I'm just a dude playing games, because like I don't have a lot of really great, critical eye on this one. This is a game that, for whatever reason, usually I pop this game in and I don't really have that same kind of sense of like, I gotta really be super critical of this thing. I'm thinking about all these different mechanics, all these different things. Like, those parts of my brain don't really fire off. Something about the game makes me just really actually be absorbed into like just playing the game. So I just wanted to give you a bit of that heads up here that this is probably one of the more rambly, me talking about a game kind of things versus the other stuff where I maybe get a little deeper into certain ideas and mechanics and stuff. Just wanted you to know that up front. And also, again, because it's one of these games where I don't have a physical copy of it, they'll have to deal with this picture back here. It's been a really nice thing having this nice second monitor now, because I can just throw stuff on this. You can kind of see it. Maybe it's a little bright and washed out because the way lighting has to work, but it's better than the nothing I would have otherwise. So, Gunstar Heroes. The plot here isn't really, it's not really well explained, I don't think, in-game. There's probably stuff in the manual, there's probably some kind of story and setting going on. But as for someone who's just jumping in, it's basically like, oh, this one person, it's like your friend or whatever, is kidnapped by some robot dude or whatever, and then it's like, we have to save him and also stop all the bad guys from taking over the world or something, and then you just kind of start playing, and it's a run-and-gun, 2D, side-scrolling platformer, and you can start off by, you pick your character or whatever, you can have like 1 or 2 players, you can pick which gun you have to start with, because they're basically like 4 guns. And see, I had to look up what they were actually called. One of them's called Force, which is like a standard, just, rapid fire gun. There's Lightning, which is kind of like a laser that shoots out. There's, Flame, which is, it shoots flames, like a flamethrower. And then there's Chaser, which is a thing that like moves these like targeting things around, and like it targets enemies and follows them. It tries to home in on enemies. And then it's kind of a standard, like, you can pick between these 4 levels, and I think there's, like, an end gauntlet of levels after that, but you got to go through these 4 levels first, and the levels are set up in this way of, like, you can, like, run, duck, jump, dash, slide, you can do, like, a dive in the air, you can shoot stuff, you can, pick people up and throw them, and certain items you can throw around as well, and it's a lot of, like, futuristic robots and stuff, and I think if you played, because this game is developed by the company Treasure, so if you played other games by them, I think they have sort of a style here, because I believe they also made the game Mischief Makers, which, like, I feel like visually looks really similar in a lot of ways. Maybe that's just me. I'll get to it someday. I have the game, just haven't reviewed it yet, okay? But, yeah. You go through these levels, and you're, running around, and usually the levels are, the beginning parts are killing lots of, like, more minor grunt, foot soldier kind of enemies and robots and stuff. Usually some kind of mid-level boss or gang of, like, tougher enemies. And then there's usually some kind of interesting level gimmick going on where you're like, you're sliding down a pyramid or something, you're avoiding like level hazards trying to like get you. There's usually destructible objects and stuff too that can sometimes reveal power-ups, sometimes enemies will drop power-ups, sometimes it's health. But most of the time you're usually picking up different guns. And the gun system in the game, almost levels end usually with a boss at the end of the level. And it's like, you beat the levels, you beat the main levels and stuff, and it's like, then you go through like an ending gauntlet of levels and bosses that you have to finish. The guns, these are interesting because basically the way the guns work are you have, those 4 guns are like the types of guns you can have. You can hold 2 guns at a time, and if you die, you lose them. But, those, basically, those can be the things you can hold, and you can, basically, so like you have the option to toggle between using one of the guns, using the other gun, or using both of them at the same time, which combines them into something different. So like if you have like a chaser and lightning, it'll have like your laser thing will be locking onto people and just staying on them continuously, just locked onto them. Or like if you have maybe like 2 of the force weapon, you just have a really strong rapid fire gun. So the mixing and matching thing aspect of that is in there, and then yeah, basically you go through those, you beat all the bosses, and you beat the game, and that's the game. Like a lot of games from the era, it's from the 90s. And also I think there's like other like difficulties and stuff and settings you can change to make it easier or harder for you in the options menu. But if you die, also you have to go back, get a game over, lose all your lives, you have to go back to the very beginning of the game, so there's that to keep in mind. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the game, and I have a blast with this game. I think it's great. It's super fun to just like, the pace of it is awesome. I think the pace is something that helps it a ton. I mean, the gun system is cool, being able to mix and match those weapons, having to strategize, like using the right combo of those weapons, and so like, I need to switch to this one for this part, and switch to this other one, or like the combo for these different parts of the stage, and what's the optimal thing to have for this stage or this boss, and like, what's going to get me there and help out. Like, I mean, the setting's cool, the visuals are great, the music's awesome, and it's just like, it's the pace of it though is like you're just moving, right? You're just like constantly, like, you're going through, you're fighting a bunch of enemies, and it's here's a mid-level like boss or a gang or something, and here's like a level gimmick thing happening. There's like a big boss. These different weapons I'm picking up and playing around with and trying to figure out all the different like things. You kind of like hang on stuff and like you can wall jump sort of, and like there's just like, all these different like mechanics to it that like you're just kind of throwing around, and you have kind of like, you can kind of play by intuition for a lot of this, for like if you play a lot of action games like this. That actually helps you a lot. You have good like reflexes, and you're able to like, basically, because a lot of it is avoiding death, more so than like getting hits in for a lot of this, and it's like constant like movement and everything. And really, I think the way this kind of is designed, it does really reward you for being able to constantly be on the move and avoiding parts of this, the things that are going to harm you, rather than having maybe the most aggressive strategy. It's more of it's more frantic, I guess, than necessarily aggressive or strategic or anything like that. And the pace is good because then it keeps you moving. There's not like downtime of like I have to wait, and here I'm not like sitting here waiting for like plot and exposition to happen. I'm not sitting here waiting for like the level to do a thing that allows me to go on, or I'm sitting here like waiting to do like the more optimal thing, because a lot of times the most optimal thing is to continue moving and doing things. So it's really great for an action game like this, and it's a game where I can just kind of interesting that I can actually like jump into this, and it's like, I'm in the game and I'm absorbed. It's not like super repetitive because it's not like super long, but it's also not like super like too short where like I just got started, now it's over or anything. I think it's got a good like length to it for what it is and everything. That being said, the game can be pretty rough, especially if you're playing on harder difficulties or by yourself. Like, because if you're with someone else, like, yeah, you have 2 people, they kind of distract some of the firepower, and you can have more firepower to fight them with, right? But you can accidentally like, throw each other around, so that's also a thing. Especially if you're playing alone and everything is targeting you, like, you have to keep moving and be doing stuff like pretty precisely, especially those bosses. Most of the bosses are really fucking hard to beat if you don't know all the things they're doing and you can't read their tells and immediately react to them. You have to play really, really well to beat them. So it can be pretty difficult at times, for the fun, like, kind of nature of it. And I don't know. That's I guess, like, most of the complaints are mainly geared towards that. That, or like not having the right weapon combination. If you don't have the right combination of weapons, you might just be like, okay, well, I don't have the thing I need to ultimately beat this thing. I have to come back and try a different combo of weapons or something. Because otherwise things are unreasonable to beat. If you like inhumanly good to beat some of that stuff if you have a poor setup of weapons to fight them. So it can be a pretty rough game, and obviously if it's for action fans, if you're not really into the fast action, you want there to be maybe some breaks or something between there. If you want a longer game, this isn't going to satisfy that type of thing. All that being said, I guess overall the thing I'm getting at here is that Gunstar Heroes, I think, is awesome. I think it's a great game if you like the idea of, like, running around, run and gun, 2D platformer, side-scrolling, shooting stuff, right? Like, it's doing that. It's got a great pace to it. It's got the visuals, and it's got the audio, and it's got, like, all the stuff comes together in this like awesome package of, like, this game is just really cool. If you like all those things about it, if it sounds cool, if it looks cool, try it out, because it's a really cool game. And I mean, yeah, I guess, I don't know, a physical copy might, I'd say it's probably worth, at least like $15 or something, I would say, if you want to just throw it in, because it's not like the longest game to, like, or biggest thing or whatever to spend tons of money on it, but I know it's available on a lot of platforms. I think it's on, like, stuff like, I don't know if you can get on Wii U, I guess, but, like, I think anything that has a Sega Genesis collection, I think those usually have it. I know you can get it on Steam for sure, and, like, you can get it on 3DS. You can get it in the Sega Genesis Mini. There's, like, a lot of ways you can get it that's probably going to be cheaper than, spending as much as you would on a physical cartridge of it anyways. And it's a really good game. I don't know. What did you guys think of this game, if you guys played it? Because I had a good time with it, single player and multiplayer. It was really fun. And that's why this whole review was an interesting one for me, just to be like, hey, this is a game that I played, and I liked it, and it was just cool. It was just, I have a blast with it, and I don't have the critical eye on the whole time I'm playing. I'm just kind of playing a game. That's nice for a change. Yes, this is you can look at this as somewhat of a hint that, like, I do have Mischief Makers, which was also developed by Treasure. I have that Nintendo 64 game, so I would love to be able to beat that at some point to actually review it, or at least get far enough to be like, this is good enough for me to do a review. But so far that game's been pretty hard, so we'll see if I ever actually play through it long enough to totally finish it. I think that's all the stuff. You know how to do all the interactions you can do on the YouTube side, on the site, the buttons, what the buttons are and what they do, and you know which button is right for you. I see ya.